3.
Come on, nerdy.
2.
You can do it.
1. Welcome to another edition of Indian Cine-MANIACs. What's going on, Maniacs?
All the spontaneity's gone.
It's gone. Well, good.
Nerdy. It's
I
all
got
gone.
it. I got it in the first take. So,
All right.
hey, what's happening, guys?
Nothing. Hey, wow, what's going on? Our Brady bunch is like going less and less. What's the deal?
Oh, Chris had a school. What do you call it? Family? What do they call those? Yeah, they go to school.
They call it
Parent-teacher
parenting.
conference?
That's right. It's been so long.
Back to school night, I think.
Back to school
Oh.
night. I think he's a single parent tonight, so that's why he couldn't make
well, at
this
least he
one.
saw the
And
film. At
Aunti
least,
is on
at least he watched
hiatus.
the film.
I think he might have.
You lying son of a-
Don't give
I
away.
finished watching
Wow.
it 1 minute ago.
You
Seriously?
watched it 1 minute?
Yeah.
Wow.
Good job.
Good, so
That's
it's
awesome.
fresh.
It's fresh in your mind.
Yeah, I'll be able to say I really like the guy with the mustache.
Oh my God. All right, yeah. So tonight we're going to talk about Special
Scyber's pick.
26.
That's Skyber's pick.
Skyber's pick.
Yep.
He did want all of us to watch it, so we apologize
did.
for Chris and Debbie not being here. But this is what you get. This
Yeah,
is,
he wanted the special 6. He's only getting the special 4, and
Yeah.
I do apologize
This is
for that.
this is
I hope he's not bummed out that Nerdy and Juan are on it.
Nerdy and Wong. Maybe that's a new show. So we're going to do Special 26, and then we're going to spin the wheel again. We have 2 left from the original viewer picks. Or
Yes.
okay,
Can I make a little announcement about that?
sure.
Okay, so we've only got 2 left from the viewer reel. So after this one, I'm going to put out in the community section, just like we did for the first viewer reel. You guys can make recommendations, but you got to sell the film. So if you just put watch this film, you're not going to win. Okay, we're not going to pick it. We need to have a reason why you want us to watch it, like you did on the previous wheel. And the fun of that's going to be, we're going to make sure this time we record what you write, so that if we totally disagree with you, we might have a little fun with that. But that's what we're going to do. We'll probably pick 8 movies. 8 to 10, I think, is probably the max you would want to go, because obviously that's 8 to 10 weeks. But look for that in the community section. And, we love your picks, but you got to sell it. You got to sell us on it. And we as a group are collectively going to vote on the ones that we pick based on what you sell us with.
And that could be 12 weeks if anybody goes on hiatus. We'll have to see.
Okay,
That's
okay.
true.
That's
I
true.
mean,
That could happen at any time.
Ralph did say he needed a hiatus.
Back up a step.
after-
Is it a wheel thing, or are we losing the wheel?
No. The wheel. It'll go on the wheel. just
Okay.
like
They'll
it did
populate the
before.
wheel.
Oh, so
and
we
then you'll-
populate the wheel. Okay.
You love the
Right.
wheel.
Listen, the wheel is very important.
And the one thing about Ralph is, if he's bored,
I'm out.
he's done. And the wheel keeps him interested. Okay.
Yes.
What's the name of the wheel, Ralph, by the way?
The wheel that dictates destiny.
Okay.
Something like
You
that.
did that without even
Isn't
thinking
that
about it.
a Disney
Very
movie
good.
this summer or something?
Disney Plus. All right. Who would like to discuss the plot of this film?
I'll do a little plot synopsis.
Are we having
if you want.
spoilers?
I think
Yeah,
it
we
came out
have
in
to. It's
2013.
2013. So I mean, if you haven't seen this film, there is a pretty big spoiler at the end that we are going to discuss. So if you haven't seen it, you don't want to watch the end. And Ralph, you can mark that down, I'm sure. But the movie Special 26 came out in 2013. It was directed by Neeraj Pandey, who also directed a movie that Ralph and I just watched, A Wednesday. In fact, there's a couple of actors from that film, which we'll get to. This was one of the biggest hits of that year. It was a huge hit. It stars Akshay Kumar, who I've seen in a couple of things, including recently OMG, their first one. Anupam Kher, who was the police chief in Wednesday, who very different kind of characters too. At first I thought, is he playing the same character?
Yeah.
And I was like, oh no, he's not. Jimmy Shergill, who was also in A Wednesday, except he played a psycho cop. Kajal Agrawal and Manoj Baipayee, who played he kind of reminded me of the super cop in Drishyam 2.
And he was also the godfather in one of the Gangs of Wassypur.
Oh, I didn't even recognize that.
Part 2, I think.
Oh, okay. And this movie was,
one of the sons.
based on a true story of a 1977 opera house heist where they stole jewelry. It didn't quite go the way the movie did, but basically the plot of the movie is, and it opens up right away with what they're doing. It's a bunch of con men who pretend to be from the CBI, which is the Central Bureau of Investigation. They go into corrupt officials. They raid them. They have all the paperwork. They have them sign all the paperwork, and they rob them blind, and then they leave. And before anyone knows what happens, they're back to their homes. They all go their separate ways. And when it's discovered what they did, the people they robbed from don't want to. What's that form called? The FIR? Is that what it's called?
Right.
Does anyone
Yeah.
know?
Yes.
FIR.
No one wants to fire.
No one wants to file the report because all the loot that they had was from being corrupt. So basically, it becomes a cat and mouse game where they're trying to catch these guys who they have trouble identifying, and they bring in this super cop who's going to take everybody down. And this is a really short synopsis, but the climax of the film is they're going to rob a jewelry store, and the cops know about it, so they plan a trap for them, and then we'll talk about the twist when we get to the spoiler sections. But I like this movie because it was pretty fast paced, and it gets into it pretty quickly. Now, Ralph and I already talked about this. It definitely had kind of for me, it had a Tarantino feel because of how many times they were walking towards the camera in slow motion.
There was
and
a lot of
that. They had some Dutch camera angles too. But it was a fun movie. It wasn't overly serious. I thought the acting performance. I've become a big fan of Akshay Kumar. I really like him. And
did you say he was the lead in Bahubali?
No, Kinsari.
Kasari, yeah.
He was in Kasari. He was the head guy.
The Alamo, but
yeah.
the Sikh warriors.
Kinsari's the one with the.
Okay.
Yeah, he
was.
What was that?
Yeah, he had on a big turban on a giant beard.
He had the. It was
Yeah, I did not recognize.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's amazing
I
the
did not know
look,
that.
the nerdy. Talk about nerdy look he had when he had his mustache, and then when he took the mustache
with the
off,
glasses
right.
and the sweater, and
he's
don't touch my sweater.
Super cool
so
dude.
He's really grown on me. And I just did a 10-ish minute review on a movie he did called Tanash, I think it was, where he was unlike any character I've seen him play. So he's really good. He's versatile. And I liked him in this. I liked everybody in this film. I thought everyone was really good. And without giving away the twist at the beginning of the movie, some of the performances were very surprising based on what happened. So that's and Scyber said we would like this movie. I really did like it.
Scyber didn't think I would like it.
I wonder
one of his comments was, "I'm glad you guys are doing the film. I don't think Ralph is going to like this film, and I don't know why."
But it's kind of a heist film. Don't you like the heist
I
films?
love heist films. This one reminded me. Okay, it's sort of had a patina of a lot of films. You said Tarantino.
Yeah.
You know, he used every camera angle trick in the book. He threw everything at us. He had split screens. He had 360 turns. He had, like you're saying, the slow mo walks.
He had the video toaster.
There was some wacky wipes and stuff going on. I also got a Heat vibe. You know, we have the one super cop against a super villain, and they meet up in that bar where the dollar gets thrown or the money gets thrown down. I liked it. I don't want to say I knew what was going to happen at the end. I kind of knew the
Well,
twist.
you're better than me.
What the twist was going to be, because they couldn't. There was no way. Look, we can
Well,
talk
I
about
didn't
it
know
down the road.
what the person twist was.
Well,
I knew. Look, you knew.
And let me just say this: it didn't matter. The twist was great. I mean, I enjoyed the heist part of it because they start right at the beginning and they set them up as their CBI. We don't know yet that they're not who they say they are until
they're
after the
very
fact.
convincing.
Right.
Yes.
Very convincing because as John said, we saw those same people in A Wednesday playing real police officers.
Right.
So that main guy, the older guy, was the main police officer in A Wednesday. So he's perfectly, you'd read him as a cop. So they played that well. Now, was it over the top where they were sticking the brooms through the thing and money's just pouring down? That poor old lady can't believe all the money's in her house and all that. I mean, it was fun from the get-go. And what was keeping me interested was, how are they going to catch these guys? And you think the whole time they're going to, and then we can get into it more. But
Well, how are they going to not get caught?
how are they not going to get caught?
That's what I was thinking about. How are they going to get away from this? It also
And
had
they
an Ocean's 11
obviously
vibe.
played those
Total
guys
Ocean's
up
11.
as like.
Yeah, Ocean's 11 was what I.
That's what
when got
That's
it.
the movie I was thinking of. Ocean's 11.
100%.
And they played the guys, the criminals, the bad guys. You knew more about them than the good guys.
Well, that's like
and they were very likable.
Ocean's
Right.
11. I mean, you nailed it with that. You're rooting for the guys to rob the casino in Ocean's 11, and that's a major crime that they're pulling off.
But that was one of the things that made the movie a little bit lesser for me. And I mean, I enjoyed it. I had a good time with it. But in Ocean's 11, it's Andy Garcia owns the casino, right?
Yeah.
And he is a monster. Like he is a true villain. So, for a movie to make you root for the criminals, you have to like them, which is easy when they're George Clooney and Brad Pitt and all those people. But also, they're getting they're striking against someone who's bad. And this, the person in that role is Manoj Baipayyee's character, this arrogant cop. And two things happened with that. First of all, he was Sardar Khan in the first Gangs of Wassypur movie. He's not in the second one because he died at the gas station. I don't know if you guys know that, if you've seen that movie.
Wait a minute.
But we know how capable he is. He's a wonderful actor of being, monstrous. And in this, I figured the cop from Jimmy Shergill's character, the cop from the original Raid, he got embarrassed by what happened. And then he got belittled by everybody, especially Manoj Baipayee, who he ended up working with. And that made me realize earlier than I think you're supposed to, that he's in on it. I'm not sure if I'm supposed to think he was in on it the whole time and it was a setup for the long con for whenever they do their last big job. Or, to me, more emotionally honest, he got embarrassed and he didn't appreciate getting humiliated by the criminals and then again by his supposed colleagues. So when they must have recruited him and they must have said, well, you can get back at these people who are really the ones who made it bad for you that you got embarrassed, because he was great. You don't know how the trap is going to be sprung, but it was still really fun to watch. And at the end, the camera spinning around Manoj Baipayee, I'm sorry, I can't remember his character's name, and all that stuff. It was very satisfying, but he wasn't evil. I thought it was almost more interesting that, unlike Ocean's 11, this was based on a true story. And there really was a heist of the Opera House jewelry store, and the heist that was supposed to happen is what the real thing was. The movie added the part where they basically made the jewelry store rob themselves first, so that they could set up the end of the movie, which was fun and it was satisfying. And also, there's a lot of ways this movie could have been 3.5 hours, and it wasn't. And I thought that was good because it did keep it moving. And the music didn't really do anything for me. I didn't really care about the relationship between Akshay Kumar and the woman he was trying to get to run away with him, but it didn't get in the way of
Again,
anything.
they throw that in always. It's the same. It's a kind of what we're going to talk about in the Yippee-Ki-Yay Kane Mutiny. They had a whole love scenario there that's like, what?
The least interesting
Yeah,
love
we don't need that.
triangle.
Just move on to the story, and that's what this
But
was like.
Singing
I'm
might have
curious
made that
because
better.
Maybe.
Slightly.
Slightly.
I had a different reading. Well, wait a minute. I should hear from Sean before we. Yeah, I mean, you already did a spoiler, but I mean, before
Yeah.
we really get into spoilers, Sean.
No,
what
I
did you
didn't.
think?
I spoiled Gangs of Wassypur. I don't think
Yes,
I
you did.
spoiled. I think I spoiled.
We
this
only
one.
spoiled part 2.
Yeah, part one was fine. So, no, I really enjoyed this movie. I love a good caper film. I thought all the actors were very personable.
Yeah.
I wish they all didn't have mustaches because sometimes I was hard to tell which one was which. And it's sort of, I'm reaching the point where I'm starting to recognize actors, and it's
Yeah.
like, oh, what film did I see him from and previously in? But, I really enjoyed it. I had a feeling how the robbery was going to go down, but the spoiler was kind of surprising to me, so, but I really liked the actors. I liked the old criminal. I liked the arrogant young one and the arrogant cop. And, Ralph said the cop was arrogant, but the lead criminal was even more arrogant, It was really a battle of wits between these, the master cop. It is like the master cop and the master criminal, so.
Yeah, and
Except
you,
the
Master
criminal
Criminal is
far
5
far
steps ahead of him.
outclasses the cop.
in this one he does.
Right,
yeah.
And that's what I mean. I kind of knew when they meet up in the hotel, and that's after the scene with the old guy where
Right.
we think the old guy is going to give up on that's going to rat on his friends.
Right.
Like he set that
Right.
whole thing up. But as soon as he went into the hotel bar and I saw the guy come out of the bathroom and bump him, I said, oh, they already know. They know that he's now at that point. I hadn't figured on the other guy, the super cop, the one you said got embarrassed, but I did kind of go, oh, they've already got this thing mapped out somehow. And then now I wanted to see how they were going to use those 26 recruits that they set up from all over the country, and some of the especially the quirky dude that they kept using, the guy that stuttered, ended up becoming a real integral part of this thing. That to me was what was going to make it interesting. Like, no, how is this going to work? How are they going? Because I knew that they were going to get away with it. There was no way they weren't. And I had already figured on that other guy was part of it. I just wasn't quite sure.
So we're at spoiler time.
Yeah,
so
I mean, we're spoiling the whole thing.
Yeah.
So
I mean, once they moved everything to the warehouse, you knew that that's where they were going to go. But what you didn't know was that, and here's the question I have, because I'm not sure, because the way they framed it at the end, was the guy and the girl actually cops? Or did they just show up in that first scene and pretended to be cops? Because if you remember, whenever the police, when they were in front of the police, nobody really knew them. It's not like they had been on the force.
Well, what about their superior?
Well, he didn't.
When they go back to the minister.
He didn't said, who are these people? And what it didn't know them. That's the impression I got. And then when they showed it at the end,
I'd have to rewatch that.
They almost made it sound like they were never really cops. They just showed up because when that camera was going around him, he started laughing. He started thinking about, because even the old guy said, he's also on our team. He helped us. Remember that? When he's talking to the guy, and that's the cops getting upset with him, but he was a plan. So I'm not 100% sure if he was even really a cop. Him and the girl.
But you don't think he was in on it from the word go?
I do. That's what I'm saying.
That's
he
what
was
he's
a
positing,
plan.
yeah.
So that whole write up, when that very first scene where they ride up in the Jeeps together.
Because he called him first and said, meet us there.
Right.
But they made you believe he was calling the police to add to the con.
Right.
But he was part of the con.
Yeah. Right then, in
That makes
hindsight,
sense.
you look back at that, you realize that, they're all in on it.
That's right.
Everybody.
And that's when they flashed it back. So as far as they were going to get away with it, you kind of figured they were going to, but I didn't know how, because I didn't know he was a part of it. Once he was a part of it, okay, now it all makes all kinds of sense. And the super cop's reaction to it when the camera's going around him, and he just starts laughing about it because he beat him and he sent him back the $100. You know, I thought that was great.
It was a nice button
great
on the end there.
Yeah.
I wasn't expecting it to turn out that Akshay Kumar was playing twins and that there was a whole magic trick at the end. But it was still pretty satisfying.
You go after my mother. Don't go after Amir Khan, okay? I'm just telling you right now. Son of a nutcracker.
That's so bad.
But I love you mentioned the
I was
music.
thinking about that end too, and the super cop obviously thought that, because remember he asked him, because that was the section 26. He goes, "How many of us are there?" And he say 27, and he's like, "No, there were only 26 of us," because he wasn't a real cop.
That's right. That's why I think he was a plant from.
Well, I like that too. That Special 26 became them. Let me ask you this: the scene with the woman and the cop who wasn't a cop, she kept saying, like they kept talking to each other, and she'd always end with "what them" or "them." She was always ending with this.
They're the real police. They're the real.
But she would always end with this like a sentence that didn't finish, like "they are" or something like that. What was that point? You guys, when they're talking to each other. Oh, okay.
I didn't.
She kept ending.
She's like she was impressed with everybody.
Yeah,
like, oh, look at
they
that.
are, and then she didn't finish whatever her thought, but she kept doing the same thing over and over, and I wasn't quite sure what that.
Well, it was almost like she was implying like they really look like real CBI.
Oh, maybe.
Because
maybe she's saying they aren't what they say they are. They're really. Good at what
I
they're
think
doing.
that's in hindsight. You can look back and say she knew. She knew it was a con and was impressed by when the old guy started slapping around the politician. To get him to acquiesce to everything. I thought that was great. And that's why I thought, is he the same character as a Wednesday?
But what it made that so good and funny is he says to the other guy, his partner, like, "God, I was scared when I was doing that. I didn't expect him." He answered back, "I didn't expect that." Right?
Well, you wanted to lead. Right. You wanted to lead.
Right. And that's when you go, "Oh, something's going on here." That's So I don't know why he thought I wouldn't like it. I love this film.
Yeah, I know you like heist films. Drew, you mentioned the music. Not the music and the love story, because that's it. Almost, I know you have.
Oh, the theme. They had a theme. The theme. Every
that
time
music was great when they're walking.
That was fine.
Yeah, I loved it. I loved that music. But it's almost like I know that they got sometimes they got to force these musical numbers into these movies, and it definitely felt like that with him in The Woman. It seemed like you really didn't need that in this film, but I know in the indie movies you have to have that. They have to have.
Well,
that.
they had another wedding. It was a whole wedding dance too.
The wedding song seemed to fit, and
Yeah.
Well,
it was a nice song and a bunch of nice photography.
Yeah, it was
Very
pleasant.
colorful.
He's a good dancer too. He's doing
He's
a great
very good,
job.
yeah.
So, yeah. What else? What else you guys? That's quick. We can't be that quick, can we?
Well, without Chris really driving it
Yeah,
forward.
Wait, I'll be Chris. Yeah, it was way too long. I don't understand it. No, I'm kidding. Chris doesn't do that.
I think he would
You
have.
know
liked
what?
this
I
one.
could see every cent up on the screen.
Yes, I mean, every cent was on the screen, Ralph.
You know
Don't
what?
think
I
so?
will say there was like no tonal shifts in this one.
No,
Well,
it was
I
very
would
consistent.
say, until you knew it was a setup, that scene with the old guy in that room, where he had to make the decision to turn on
That
his
was a
partner,
good acting job. That was good.
that was very different from the rest of the film, I thought.
Well, and then his
And,
other,
like, when he put the
yeah.
gun down, yeah.
Yeah,
Even
no,
though
look,
now
the whole thing of a con is that you have to sell it, and
That's
if
right.
you sell it so well that we don't know that you're selling it, well, then you're gonna win. And they
that's
took
why
the
that
smartest
guy-
cop
that
who's
guy's-
hunting them and
that
made him
guy's
a mark.
performance was so good.
well, and they did that for us because I thought he flipped.
Right.
And even when he went back in the next day
Right.
and his friend comes over and says, "You okay? You seem a little
Right.
off." I'm like, "Oh, they really are going to go
Right.
with this." But then, as all heist movies, like you said, it's the twist is the twist. We know they're going to come back around. We want them to win. But I did like the 360 and the reaction of that cop just going, "They got me. What
him
can
just
I do?"
laughing.
Yeah.
And then playing with his kid.
Yeah.
I do want to say one thing about this twist. This isn't like an M. Night Shyamalan
No,
movie.
no.
Where the twist
Another
is the
Indian
whole
director.
movie, and it's sort of like, if you like the twist, you like the movie. If you think the twist is stupid, you hate the movie. To me, the twist of this was just like a little cherry on top because the movie worked all the way.
Well, that's
through
why it's
anyway.
Ocean's 11, right? From that whole
right,
Ocean's
right.
11 where they pull off that heist with that elevator thing. That was the big twist there, that they have the duplicate elevator, right?
Right.
So it didn't diminish the movie if that didn't work perfectly because you had the great movie right up until that point. So that's
Well, and
the
also
same.
they keep this is straight out of Ocean's 11 too. The police, the actual police, end up carrying out the loot for
Right.
them, like
Right.
all that kind of stuff. Like the thing about the crime in this movie is committing crimes like that's not really my scene, but you get the rush of it. You get the fun of it because they made a plan and they pulled it off, and it was a clever plan, and they've done it almost 50 times. And they've done it in such a way that nobody's ever figured out that it was happening. Never mind that they were needed to, find somebody to arrest. Because the whole notion of I'm going to go after people who I know won't report it, who I know won't complain about it, and that there are that many people in different businesses and in politics, that says something. I think the movie is saying something about the scale of public corruption in India, that these people who are doing things they shouldn't do, like taking bribes and stuff, there's plenty of targets. I mean, I got the impression if these guys wanted to, they could have done another 50 of them.
Well, it's very
that
Robin
kind of
Hood,
thing.
right? I mean, it's very Robin.
Well, it's not Robin Hood. I mean, they're not donating the money to anybody
but
or anything.
they're people.
But-
That's why you root for them, because they're going after people who are corrupt.
Right, and there's nothing wrong. I mean, that's Omar in The Wire. He's the guy who robs drug dealers. What are you going to tell him?
Well,
you
who
shouldn't rob
is the
those people?
corrupt person in the jewelry store at the end?
Well, they had stuff that they weren't supposed to have. That's the impression I got when they brought
Yeah,
everything to the warehouse.
Yeah, don't look in my books and all that kind of
okay,
like.
so he was-
just the notion that it's a big success. The notion is you have succeeded. You have a ton of money. You have done something wrong somewhere along the way, probably with not paying your taxes, and that was enough to, convince people to go along with what they were being threatened with. And also, by the way, that I can't remember who said it about the little old lady being shocked that there was money in the ceiling and
Yeah,
stuff
I
like
said
that.
that.
She
Ralph said
knew
that.
that money was there. She
Right.
kept saying, "Oh, don't look at the idol,"
Right.
all that kind of stuff.
really?
Like, it
I
was
thought
just,
she
it
was. I
ridiculous.
didn't realize.
There's nobody innocent in these crimes. I'm not saying that these people who they rob, do or don't deserve to be robbed because they're, criminals being, robbed by other criminals. But it certainly makes it easier to root for them. I also feel really bad for 26 people who thought they were getting a job with CBI.
Yeah,
And
well,
they
what
got conned too.
that makes it even more interesting is the cops had two of their own people in there.
Right.
And they still didn't figure it out.
Yep.
And also the overarching thing here was that guy, our main guy, Akshay Kumar, was not that scene in the rain where he gets rejected from the CBI. That's the whole thrust of this film is he's doing this
That's
to
why
get
he
back
did
at
it.
those
That's
guys.
why I went after him.
That's so dramatic. Those scenes are so like
know.
when they had the couple in front of the ocean behind them, and then that scene in the rain where I mean, this is what I love.
There's always
It's what I
gonna be
love,
scenes
and what
in the
would
rain.
never work. I don't think that. Well, although I say this, have you ever seen High? Is it High Fidelity? Is it no? It's
Sure. The John
Yeah.
Cusack movie?
You're thinking of the one where he holds the radio.
no. High Fidelity. Is that the
High
name?
Fidelity. Is it with John Cusack?
Yeah, he's always in the rain in that one when he's getting broken up with. Always pouring rain every time. So I'm sitting here saying it's only in Indian films, but no. But what they get away with, and I think Sean mentioned it last week when he said what he likes about Indian films, which is their sincerity. Like they're just you're just the emotion, and even to the point where the cop slaps that dude off the balcony, and that guy lands on the car. People, Jesus Christ! I mean, can that really happen without that guy, the cop, going to jail?
And
for
that
what
was
he did?
unrelated to the con man.
That was just showing plus that
his
whole thing with
introduction.
his wife or his daughter, whoever wasn't wearing the
Yeah, she was showing a little cleavage.
little bit of
Oh,
cleavage
yeah. So
there.
he wears your veil.
And I think that's just to show what a control freak he was. I guess.
I think my favorite scene in the movie was when they broke down the door and the real CBI was in the room, and they got to scramble now. We're from the IRS.
Right.
I thought that was a great scene. The way
That
they
was
played it.
funny.
Yeah.
You wanted to lead,
Yeah.
and he got all tongue tied. I thought that was great.
Yeah.
And the CBI ended up helping him call all the loot out.
Right.
Yeah. It was fun.
It was a fun film. Definitely was.
Scyber, good job. Ralph liked it.
I
Scyber.
loved it. Nerdy Ralph loved that film.
Yeah,
Maybe
nerdy because there was no hairy feet.
there were no hairy feet in this movie.
Yeah, so
There were no hobbits.
No.
No hobbits.
Yeah.
No sky
Hey,
beams.
wait a minute. For an Indian film, no kid got slapped.
But there was a lot of slapping going on.
there was a lot of slap.
That's right in that first scene.
Oh, the
Damn.
3 slaps. That dude got 3 slaps on him. Back to back to back. And I love that guy was like, I didn't know what to say. He started talking back to me. I had to do it. It was just,
He was great.
Yeah, he was good.
Was so different than Wednesday, where he was confident and sure of himself.
yeah,
I mean,
well, where
really
he
played
pulled
that
it
well.
off was in the hotel scene when the
Yeah.
gun was pointed at him. I believed that he was going to turn on his friends. I believed.
But you said the right thing, Ralph. He was conning. They were conning us too.
I know. Well, they always that's
Because
what,
they
that's
played
what they
along.
do
Why-
in these films.
Why is he
Obviously,
still doing it with
Yeah.
his partner?
Yeah.
That's
Right.
just for us. That's not for anybody
Right.
else.
They're
so.
trying. They always try to keep you off balance. Keep
Like
you
the
guessing.
Sting.
Like the Sting.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
That's a perfect example of that. We're
Yeah.
right up until the end. Yeah. So yeah, like the Sting. That's
You
perfect.
mean episode 39?
Yes.
Of Yippee-Ki-Yay? We did the Sting? I don't even remember that.
Yeah, we did this thing. I brought it.
Oh, of course.
Perfect film.
It is a perfect film.
This is an excellent
know it
film.
is.
All right. So
And
there you
also-
go.
I'm also
Or
glad they
screenwriter.
never made a sequel to Special 26 because the sequels to Ocean's 11 didn't really do anything for me.
The Sting 2
Especially
had a
the-
sequel too.
especially
That
the
didn't
second
go
one.
very well either.
Yeah, that
Mac
didn't go
Davis, Jackie Gleason.
Yeah. So this no sequels to. I'm looking at the director's filmography.
He's gone on to make even bigger hit movies, but I don't
Yeah,
think
wasn't
he's
this the
made
second
any.
Well, he's
film
got
after,
Special Ops
Wednesday?
1.5. He's got
I believe
Special
so.
Ops. Those are,
Yeah.
I think John and I tried to review the trailer for one of these Special Ops films, and it got.
Yeah,
We
it
got
got copyright hit.
Yeah. But if you guys haven't seen a Wednesday, you should see a Wednesday because
Yeah, it's
it
really,
really
good.
highlights
You guys would like it.
this the main actor.
Great
plus,
performances in
It's
it.
really good. So, all right. So I guess we'll go to the wheel and spin. We have 2 left. So,
Well, how many Ladus?
oh, good point. I always forget that. I'm going to say 4.5 Ladus for me.
I'll
gonna
give
say
it 4
4 for me.
Ladus. I'll give it 4.
Yeah, 4 is good.
I'm going to give it 4, even though it kept me mesmerized the whole time. But, when I think of 5, I'm thinking films that, where the characters emotionally engage me more.
Like Doom 3.
Yeah, like Doom 3.
Well, really
You know,
more
if they
Doom
had,
2.
if they had a motorcycle that would also work as a submarine in this movie.
That would have killed it.
would've
That
been
would have brought it
fun.
down about 4
So
Ladus.
wait a minute,
if they had done that.
Scyber. I just want to make sure we're clear on this. 3 of us gave it 4 Ladus. Ralph gave it 4.5.
Yeah, and I originally as I was watching it, I thought the camera work was getting in the way of the film. Like they were
It
being
was
too,
distracting.
They were being too showy. By the
Yeah,
end,
Lenses and stuff. Yeah.
by the end, I was like, okay, I'm in. I get it. And especially that 360 that
Yeah.
he did. So, like I was telling John earlier, it's I'm totally immersed in Brian De Palma right now, And I'm like, oh, they're trying. That's all split screens and that 360 stuff, and he's trying. And it was a little bit a little intrusive at the beginning, but once he settled down, I think he worked. It worked very well, and I really thoroughly enjoyed it. So, all right, so let's spin the wheel for the next two. We have two left. All right, so there you go. There's two.
Okay, Sita Ramam
And
from
Jersey.
Krishnan, and Jersey from Many Faced One God.
That's good. I'm glad you read that. I've already seen Jersey.
I know, that's good.
Well, you can watch it in the car next time.
No, it does
Okay.
not take place in New Jersey.
Now, there's two versions of this.
Yes.
So which one?
I
Which
don't know.
which one?
Whichever one's free.
Well, it's on Netflix. It's
I
on
think-
Netflix. I don't know which
I don't know
version.
which
I think
one
they're
is that?
both on Netflix.
What did we watch? I don't remember the one we
We watched both because we compared them.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah. I think one of them's a Tamil version, I think.
Okay, one was in 2022. I think that's. I
Right.
definitely saw that one. And right, because a younger guy played. The
Yeah,
guy,
there's
and one was
2019.
Yeah.
Okay, the 2022 is available on Netflix. The 2019 is on YouTube, but the YouTube version re-edited it. So watch the 2022 version.
Okay, yeah, I see it.
Yeah, don't watch
Watching
the
it right
2019
now.
because when we compared it, I hated the way the structure of that. I like the guy better in the 2019, but then commenters said that they re-edited it. That's why it didn't make sense.
They
to me.
rearranged it.
They rearranged. Well, that's re-editing it, isn't it?
Well, there's listen. That's my
Well,
profession.
it's good to have another cricket movie. This one had that cricket scene at the end.
Yeah, this has got great cricket in it, and everyone is looking forward to Ralph playing cricket.
Yeah, I'll
and
get
by
there.
the way, having said that, we did our special question show, questions from the audience, and people seem to really like that, and they want us to do more of it. Some people are very upset that we didn't answer all their questions, and one of the questions was, when will you watch this movie? That was the question. So we
Well,
can't
it doesn't
get to all
matter.
the
He's not
questions.
subscribed anymore.
Well, he unsubscribed.
Oh, he unsubscribed.
It'll be
That's okay.
it'll be a 2-hour thing, but we'll do that again in a couple of episodes, or maybe
That was a lot of fun.
It was fun. Maybe we'll just get some questions, and maybe at the end of every show, we'll answer a viewer question too. Maybe that's what we'll do from the community page. That might be fun.
Well, we've got the Jersey. When do you guys want to do the RRR retrospective? We talked about.
Well,
doing.
we should probably do that. Isn't next week? Well, this week.
I thought
Today's
the
the
anniversary.
anniversary.
I thought
Yeah,
today.
today is.
So why don't we do that?
Oh, wait a minute. Let me look at something here real quick.
Okay. I think that I think Drew had mentioned September 12th.
I think what we should do
Yeah,
is
no,
next
it's
week
today.
we skip a courtroom drama and do Jersey, and then we'll do an RR retrospective, 2 separate shows. Instead
What do you
of
mean?
doing-
Watch our
Why not just?
again?
Why don't we just push Jersey down a week and we do RRR next week?
Well, it's up to you. I'm
Yeah.
just going.
That's what I think.
because
I don't want to
it's
skip
the viewers.
I'm not skipping the courtroom.
This is
drama.
a viewer choice.
No. We got Yippee-Ki-Yay to
Well,
think
we're
about.
on-
We got
we're
the other
on
show.
We're on episode 194.
Of
So 6 more episodes, of our show.
Of the
So we're
YKY.
6 away from 200.
Wow.
are you combining both the Indian Cine-MANIACS?
India and normal, but I'm not combining
Normal.
20 minutes.
Okay,
or
just the two main shows.
Do it up.
The two main shows.
Oh well, thank
Two
you for
main
that.
shows.
I mean, I thought it was part of the team, but whatever.
Are we watching
thanks,
Jersey
Sean.
with Shahid Kapoor? Is
What
the
was
one
that?
We're watching? Are we watching the Jersey show starring Shahid Kapoor? He was the star of Hyder.
Yes.
Yes, that's the one.
Yes.
That's the 22.
Okay. I really
That's the
like that guy,
22
so-
one. Okay.
Yeah.
Great.
That's the one that's on Netflix.
Yeah, that's a good
Excellent.
one. So, do we
I
want
like it when it's on Netflix. Oh, by the way, if she's still watching, I want to thank Wolverina for giving us a little assist. I was working today, so I got home just in time to watch the entire movie. I mean, I'm looking at the clock and I'm like, oh, I have 3 more minutes, and I clicked it off, and
Very
there was
fresh,
the
though.
invite.
It's fresh in your mind.
Fresh. Yeah, she's great.
So let's decide right now. Do we want to do RR next week, or it's just get these 2 final films and then do that? What do you want to do? Quickly.
But I'm not sure what we're doing with RRR.
We're
We
going
already
to
did
discuss
RRR,
what
so-
it meant to us again, and I thought we would bring around because it's been a year.
That's a good thing. Yeah, let's do that. That's no problem.
Yeah, just to lament about how great it was, or not. If you guys, I'm good.
No, well, I mean,
I'm tired of lamenting.
It did put us on a journey. So I think it's worth
I'm
talking
lamenting about
the
that journey, though.
All right, you know what? We'll just do Jersey next week.
No, if you, Ralph, what do you want to do?
I'm about to
Hey,
quit for
don't
another
stop
month. I'm about to
believing.
go out for another month. Okay. What?
I'm going to take another sabbatical.
I'll decide during the week. We'll figure it
Okay,
out. So
you decide.
watch Jersey
Okay, well, I've already watched it, so I'm
just in case. You might want to refresh. All right, everybody. So have a good week. Chris will be back next week, I assume.
Nice.
Debbie still going to take her sabbatical? Who knows? Okay.
All
That's
right,
fine.
tell Auntie we said hi.
Yep.
Please do.
Take her time. Okay. All right, everybody. Have a good week.
And thanks for the nicknames, everyone.
Oh, yeah. It's awesome. Thank you for that.
All right, nerdy.
Okay.
Good point,
All right.
Wally.
Yeah.